Are you ready for this? Idealcustomerprofile.com. Companies with an ideal customer profile have a 68% higher win rate. But at the same time, I have seen go-to-market leaders build out a meticulous ideal customer profile, but in the end, not end up with any revenue growth at all. Here's a big question. What goes into a proper and effective ideal customer profile? In this episode, I'm gonna walk you through my 3-point analysis that I do in every single ideal customer profile that I look at. We apply this ideal customer profile template to every single operating company that we spin up and every single client that we advise. And when you implement these 3 principles, you will be able to have a proper ideal customer profile and you will be able to accelerate your path to the next stage of growth. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm TK. I'm the managing director of TK Capital. We own and operate a portfolio of AI and advisory companies. In this channel, I share everything that I've learned in building companies and everything that I'm learning as I'm building my current companies so that you can actually build incredible companies alongside me. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon that you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. If you're already part of this community, my people, welcome back. Really awesome to see you over here. My last company, Kader, was backed by the likes of Andreessen Horowitz, Founder Collective, Jackson Square Ventures, and even Jason Calacanis. We went on to pioneer the $5.2 billion sales engagement category. We went on to then exit the company to a market leader called Marketo. But here's the thing, until we did a proper ideal customer profile exercise, we didn't have a company. No one was buying our product in the right way. When we did an ideal customer profile exercise, the right way that I'm about to show you, we started to focus on high growth companies with a VP of sales that had budget and needed more pipeline. It got that specific. And that unlocked the growth that we encountered through subsequent years and helped build out that category. When we sold Kader to Marketo, I joined as the SVP of strategy. They were owned by Vista at the time. And we did a 2-year transformation and sold Marketo to Adobe for $4.75 billion. One of the first things that we did to unlock growth for Marketo, it was an ideal customer profile exercise. So in this episode, having learned everything that I've learned in terms of building ICPs, what we deploy in our portfolio companies today, what we deploy with the clients that we work with today through our advisory business, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles that you absolutely need to know as you start to implement my ideal customer profile template. If you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and let's dig right into it. Step number 1 in the process, and this is gonna be different than any ChatGPT question that you do for an ICP or any template that you find on some random CRM company's website. Step number 1 is to ask who this is for, but not what the buyer persona is, not like, oh, Mike is a VP of sales at blah, 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 and blah. Not like that. You want to ask, who is this for? Who is our software for? Who is our product or service for? And list out 10 actual companies that you think should buy your product. One of the biggest mistakes that I see happen when we're doing ideal customer profile exercises, you start to pontificate. You start to create this really abstract definition of what an ideal buyer persona is, which is a person, which is not what you want, or even what a company is. And you start to say, oh, we are selling to tech-enabled services companies that want AI and have the budget to invest through their VP of enablement so that they can scale. Which sounds pretty good, but when you actually start to dig into tech-enabled services companies, you start to realize that that pool is actually not big enough and their budgets are not big enough to really sell what you're trying to sell, and it's not an urgent and important problem. So one of the most important things that you really want to do as the first step in your ideal customer profile template is to ask who, which is what are the companies that should be buying us, and actually list out 10. And as you list out 10, then start to really flesh out, okay, out of these 10, what are the firmographics? What are the patterns? How do we define this type of company that would buy our product, that would need our product or our services or our solution? Once you start to do number 1, then you start to do number 2. Number 2 is asking when. This is my most favorite because anytime I'm looking at a company and I'm looking at the ideal customer profile, I ask, what is the trigger event? Because ultimately, in order for someone to buy a product or a service, they need to have an urgent and important problem. And there's always a certain trigger event for that problem to exist. So in the case of Kader, it was a fast growth company. They had bigger growth targets and the VP of sales couldn't look at marketing and realize that, okay, we're gonna get enough pipeline to hit these targets. That was a trigger moment. It means that they were fast growth and marketing sucked, which is the case for a lot of companies today, even today. And so when we went to the new VP of sales, that was one of our trigger events, and said, hey, you just got hired in to hit aggressive growth targets. You're the growth guy, but you don't have enough marketing to hit your pipeline target and hit your number. Would you like to buy ToutApp so that you can actually generate your own pipeline? And almost every single time they would say yes. That's why that category grew so big, so fast. So you really want to figure out what the trigger event is for your ideal customer profile that makes it where this is an urgent and important priority for the person that you're actually selling into. These two things alone is going to completely change the trajectory and the likelihood that your ideal customer profile is going to be successful. Because here's the thing. Today, you can have Claude Code, or you can have ChatGPT, or even Gemini. You can go into any one of those and ask, hey, what should my ideal customer profile be? And you should give it some context. You could then close out that session and start a brand new session and ask the same question, and you'll get a slightly different ICP. You could then ask it, hey, are you sure about this? The entire fate of my company and my job depends on this. And you'll quickly see how it starts to doubt itself. At the end of the day, LLMs are just trying to guess what you want to hear. It's doing its best to give you practical advice, but at the same time, an ideal customer profile is a very subjective exercise, which is why these two questions always go into my ideal customer profile template to understand what are we really dealing with? And is this important enough, urgent enough? And is this definition of a company real enough where we can list 10 of them? And then can we go into 10 of these companies that I've listed and sell it and validate that this is the right ICP for us? If you're starting to see the power in this, starting to see the power of asking these two questions on top of whatever ICP exercise you've done, can I just get a yes in the comments below? And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. Also, while you're here, you put yes, right? You smash the like button, cool. This episode is sponsored and brought to you by the folks at Instant. Instant is a demand acquisition platform. Once you have your ICP nailed, you can go to Instant and you can feed in your website and it will generate an entire inbound lead acquisition system for you. It will create the social media posts to attract your ICP. It will turn them into actual inbound leads, and it'll help you nurture those leads and turn them into real meetings. It is an incredible platform. We're really grateful that they are sponsoring it. To learn more, just go to useinstant.com. useinstant.com, and I'll also link to it in the description below. You should go check it out once you have your ICP nailed. And also thank those people because they're the ones that make videos like this possible. This is why I get to do these videos on YouTube. Let's go to the third thing in my ideal customer profile template. And the third thing that I ask is why. Why is this right now an urgent and important problem? And why are these people encountering this urgent and important problem and having this trigger moment? So essentially I'm asking, why are these two things happening? And at the same time, is there enough people where these two things are happening to them? Because at the end of the day, if there's only 5 people that have this urgent and important problem and you can't list another 5 companies, this is not enough of a big enough ICP. So it doesn't really work. But at the same time, if your who and your when is so broad and so generic, you can't even get to a very specific macro trend and why this is happening, then your ICP is so broad, you will not be able to differentiate yourself. So this is why I always ask, what is the macro trend? For us, back in the ToutApp days, outbound was amazing. Outbound was amazing because people were blogging and marketing was doing their thing. They were doing demand generation, like OG style, and it was generating leads, but it was saturated. Everyone was actually generating blog posts. Everyone was doing SEO. Everyone was doing SEM. And there was no organic social. Back then, organic social was not what it is today. So people were looking for another channel. And there is where our opportunity and our macro trend came. We came in and said, hey, listen, the one channel that's working really well is cold email. And we have a platform that helps you cold email at scale. It's called sales engagement. It's for salespeople. It's not for marketing. It lands in the inbox. And therefore, the response rates were insane. Fast forward to today, that macro trend is no longer true. You get less than 1% conversion rate on outbound, meaning you outbound prospecting to someone. You can use an AI SDR, you can personalize, whatever you want to do. People aren't responding because they know it's being done automatically. They know it's some random AI agent trying to fake the fact that they're personalizing. So they're ignoring it. That macro trend no longer exists. But 10 years ago, when we started the entire category, it existed, which is why you really want to understand what is the macro trend that's happening right now in your customers' lives that is creating this trigger event at scale. Because if you can do that, then you really are starting to get some shape to this ideal customer profile. Once you have the macro trend, you have the trigger events, you have the type of companies, you have those 10 they can extrapolate into proper firmographics, you're starting to really lay out the pieces of a proper ideal customer profile. And that's the template that I use for building out a proper ideal customer profile. Let's recap this, and then I have a resource for you. To build out your ideal customer profile, the 3-point analysis that I do every single time I look at one is, number one, who's this for? And can I list 10 companies that match it? Number two, what is the trigger event that makes it where this is an urgent and an important and a priority problem that this particular target market needs to solve? And then number three, what is the macro trend that is making it where this trigger event is happening over and over and over to my target market? Because if I have those three things, I have the trifecta of a hot market that I can really solve a solution for and actually differentiate in. So now you know the 3 questions I ask when I'm going through my ideal customer profile template. Now you may not know exactly how to do all these pieces. You may want to see my full template, which is why we created an entire resource that's completely free. It is, are you ready for this? It's awesome. It is idealcustomerprofile.com. So just go to idealcustomerprofile.com and you'll get all of the resources that I have about building out a proper ideal customer profile. It is an incredible resource. It's completely free. It's got my best videos, and it's also sponsored by the folks at Instant, because once you have a proper ideal customer profile, you'll want to actually build an audience on organic social and on paid social with this ICP. You'll want to turn them into inbound leads that fills your pipeline, and Instant will do that as well. So go to idealcustomerprofile.com or follow the link in the description below, and you'll get my full ideal customer profile template. You'll get additional video resources on how I think about ICP, the common mistakes people make, so that you can actually build out your proper ICP and not waste months going after the wrong ICP, because people do that all the time. Now, if you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. If you have a fellow go-to-market practitioner, if you have a fellow founder, if you have a fellow leader that you would like to share this video with that would get value, please share this with them. We want to serve as many founders and go-to-market leaders as possible with these videos that I'm creating on how to build a differentiated go-to-market strategy, including an ideal customer profile. Also, I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches as an operator myself of a holding company on how to grow companies. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon where you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. Also, if you're in this stage where you're figuring out your ideal customer profile and you're building out your go-to-market strategy, you're building out your company, you should check out this video. In this video, I walk you through the 10 hardest lessons I've learned in building companies going from 0 to 10 million plus in ARR, and I break them down into key revenue inflection points and the biggest lessons to learn. You can go check out that video as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you inside of idealcustomerprofile.com. I'll see you in the next episode, and I will see you in the next whatever it is that you're going to be digging into. Take care, everybody. Bye.